Welcome to Retro 1960s. Bonanza wasn't just a TV Western, it was comfort, courage, and family values beamed into millions of homes under wide Nevada skies. But behind the Ponderosa's warmth were real lives marked by pressure, illness, and sudden goodbyes. Tonight, we honor the beloved faces fans cherished and the final chapter's time eventually wrote for them. Ben Cartwright, the steady patriarch of the Ponderosa, was brought to life by Lorne Greene, a man whose voice could sound like comfort and command in the same breath. Greene played Ben as the kind of father viewers wanted to believe existed, firm, fair, and never too proud to listen. When the ranch was threatened or the town turned ugly, Ben didn't just reach for a rifle, he reached for principle, and that moral clarity became the show's heartbeat. Greene was born February 12, 1915, in Ottawa, Canada, and when Bonanza began, he was in his 40s, old enough to feel credible as Pa, young enough to carry the series' demands. On screen, he guided Adam, Hoss, and Little Joe through loss, justice, and hard lessons that landed like quiet sermons. He rarely played scenes big, letting a pause do the work like a father choosing the right words. Off-screen, Greene's career kept expanding, later including Commander Adama in Battlestar Galactica. When he died on September 11, 1987, at 72, it hit many fans like a family death. Because for years, he'd been sitting in their living rooms, holding the world together with that calm stare. Candy Canaday arrived later in the run, yet he slipped into the Cartwright world like an adopted brother. Tough, loyal, and quietly modern. David Canary played Candy with grounded confidence. Part foreman, part fighter, part friend who'd take the hit so the family wouldn't have to. Candy didn't try to replace anyone. He earned his place by showing up when it counted. Canary was born August 25, 1938, in Elwood, Indiana, and he brought fresh energy to the later seasons without breaking the show's core tone. Candy's strength felt practical, like a man who'd been knocked down before and learned to stand without bragging, and Canary gave him an edge, moments where the smile fades and you sense the weight behind the charm. After Bonanza, Canary became a daytime television giant on All My Children, proving he could carry long-form emotion as well as Western grit. Yet for many fans, he's forever tied to that Ponderosa dust. Boots on the porch, eyes on the horizon, ready to protect the family he chose. Canary died on November 16, 2015 at 77, reportedly of natural causes, and his farewell reminded viewers that once Bonanza let you into the family, you stayed there. Adam Cartwright was the thoughtful eldest son, the one who could build a house, argue philosophy, and still ride into danger when the moment demanded it. Pernell Roberts played Adam with quiet intelligence, giving Bonanza a steady adult gravity. In a family of strong personalities, Adam often felt like the mind of the operation, measured, principled, and sometimes lonely in his self-control. Roberts was born May 18, 1928, in Waycross, Georgia, and his discipline on screen wasn't coldness, but responsibility. He let emotion flicker without spilling, like a man trained to hold the line for everyone else, and that restraint made Adam relatable to viewers who knew being the reliable one can be its own burden. Roberts eventually left the series, and that absence became part of Bonanza's long story, like a chair at the table that never stops feeling empty, before he found major success with Trapper John, M.D. He died on January 24, 2010, at 81. And for many fans, it felt like losing the show's conscience, the voice that reminded the West to be wise, not just brave. Little Joe was youth, impulse, romance, and fire, always the first to leap, the first to feel, the first to defend the name Cartwright. Michael Landon played him with bright emotional honesty that kept the series from becoming too stern. Joe's smile could charm a room, but Landon made sure you also saw the ache underneath, because growing up on the frontier meant learning heartbreak early. Landon was born October 31st, 1936 in New York City and joined the show in his early 20s, bringing urgency to the performance. Joe falls in love fast, gets hurt fast, and still rides again. And Landon's gift was vulnerability. Even in tough scenes, he let Joe look young, like a man still becoming himself. After Bonanza, Landon became a cultural cornerstone through Little House on the Prairie and Highway to Heaven. And then, in 1991, the story turned cruelly short. Diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, he died on July 1st, 1991, at 54. His passing felt tragically early because his screen energy still felt youthful, like someone time shouldn't have been allowed to catch. Yet every rerun proves it didn't erase him. Lord Rainey often appeared as the kind of authority figure who could tighten a scene just by entering it. As Captain Arnholt, he brought stern structure into a world where justice was often improvised. He didn't play power as swagger, but as duty, sometimes fair, sometimes frustrating, always believable, and in Bonanza, that mattered because it forced the Cartwrights and the audience to consider what right looks like when law and morality collide. Rainey was born August 8, 1908, in Mountain Home, Idaho, and by the time he appeared in television westerns, he carried the craft of a long-working actor. His presence felt seasoned, like a man who'd seen too much to be easily impressed. And even in brief moments, he gave the show weight, making the world around the Ponderosa feel larger than one family. Off-screen, Rainey's career stretched across stage, film, and television for decades, built not on hype, but reliability. He died on July 25, 2005, at 96, leaving the quiet kind of legacy. Not a catchphrase, but a lifetime of moments that made stories feel real. Griff King was Bonanza's late-era jolt of redemption, a parolee trying to rebuild his life under Ben Cartwright's watch. Tim Matheson played Griff with raw edges, pride, shame, hope, and the restless feeling that one wrong choice could end everything, a storyline that fit the early 1970s mood, less fairy tale West, more complicated America. Matheson was born December 31st, 1947 in Glendale, California, and he brought modern vulnerability to the Ponderosa. Griff isn't instantly lovable, he has to earn trust, and Matheson lets you see the fight inside him, wanting to do right, fearing he can't, then choosing to try anyway, proving second chances can be brave. Unlike many names we honor, Matheson is still with us, and that matters. In a genre where so many stories end in loss, it's powerful to remember some chapters continue in ordinary time. For longtime fans, Griff remains the Ponderosa's promise. You can come in broken and still be welcomed. Hop Sing wasn't just the Cartwright's cook, he was the sound of home. Victor Sen Young played him with quick humor, sharp irritation, and real affection, like a family member who complains because he cares. His presence made the Ponderosa feel lived in, meals simmering, arguments in the kitchen, warmth waiting after a hard ride, and in a show built on landscapes, he gave it a heartbeat indoors. Sen Young was born October 18, 1915, in San Francisco, and came into Bonanza with a long career already behind him, including work in the Charlie Chan films. On screen, he balanced comedy with loyalty, stubborn, proud, unmistakably devoted, even when scripts leaned broad. His ending arrived quietly and painfully. Sen Young died in 1980 at 65, with reports indicating accidental natural gas poisoning at home. It's the kind of farewell that feels lonely for someone who spent years creating family on screen. Yet the legacy remains. Hop Sing helped define comfort in classic American television, one small scene at a time. Dusty Rhodes felt like the Ponderosa's easy smile, the dependable ranch hand who could soften a tense day with a simple line. Lou Frizzell played Dusty with lived-in authenticity, the sense of a man who doesn't need speeches to prove loyalty, and in the later seasons, characters like Dusty mattered, because they made the ranch feel like a real working place, not just a stage for heroes. Frizzell was born June 10, 1920 in Missouri, and he carried the rhythm of a working actor. Steady, natural, never forcing a moment. Dusty's charm wasn't showy, it was human, like the friend who shows up early, stays late, and never asks for credit. Off-screen, Frizzell worked widely across television and film, often playing men you'd believe you could meet in real life, and then his ending came too soon. He died on June 17, 1979, at 59, from lung cancer. Dusty remains a quiet thread in the tapestry, proof that sometimes the characters you miss most are the ones who made everything feel normal. Every Western needs a healer, the calm figure who steps into chaos with steady hands. Grandin Rhodes played Dr. J.P. Martin like a man who'd seen every kind of pain a frontier town could hold. While others carried guns, the doctor carried responsibility, and his calm professionalism offered a different kind of heroism, the courage to help even when help can't always win. Rhodes was born August 7, 1904, in Jersey City, New Jersey, and brought old-school craftsmanship, clear diction, grounded presence, quiet authority that never felt theatrical, often slowing the show down in the best way, reminding viewers that after every brawl, somebody has to stitch the wound and speak the truth gently. Off-screen, he was one of those classic character actors who made mid-century television function. Audiences recognized his face and trusted it. Rhodes died on June 9, 1987, at 82, leaving a legacy you feel more than you notice, the steady supporting work that made the Ponderosa feel like a real community worth caring about. Bing Russell's deputy Clem Foster felt like the town's backbone, the lawman who didn't need to dominate a room to keep it under control. He played Clem with rugged clarity, calm, practical, quietly fair, and in a show where the Cartwrights often became the conscience of the community, Clem was the steady hand that helped that conscience take shape. Russell was born May 5, 1926, in Brattleboro, Vermont, and his style wasn't flashy, but dependable. He made frontier justice feel like work, not theater. Showing up, keeping order, doing the unpleasant parts so decent people could live in peace. Off-screen, he was also known as Kurt Russell's father and for his love of baseball, but on the Ponderosa, he was simply Clem, the man you wanted nearby when trouble started. Russell died on April 8, 2003, at 76, and if you've ever felt reassured when the deputy arrived, that's his legacy. Strength that doesn't raise its voice, it just stands its ground. Later appearances of Dr. Martin were also portrayed by Harry Holcomb, whose version felt like a comforting hand on the shoulder. Holcomb brought patience and paternal kindness, the kind of presence that makes a scene feel safe even when the story isn't. And in a Western, that gentleness is essential because it gives the violence contrast and meaning. Holcomb was born November 11, 1906, in Malta, Ohio, and carried decades of experience into every look and line. His delivery suggested an older doctor who has learned when to speak and when to simply listen, steadying panicked characters with calm certainty. Off-screen, many viewers recognized him from commercials, most famously as the kindly grandfather in Country Time ads, an image that fit the warmth he brought to television. He died on September 15, 1987, at 80, leaving a reminder that supporting doesn't mean unimportant. Sometimes the gentlest performances are the ones that hold a story together, like a lamp left on in the window. Sheriff Roy Coffey was the face of order in Virginia City, patient, principled, and human enough to feel real. Ray Teal played him without swagger. He wasn't the lawman who wanted glory, he was the lawman who wanted peace, and that made him indispensable. His scenes with Ben Cartwright often felt like two pillars of the same town, different roles, same commitment. Teal was born January 12, 1902, in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and brought decades of experience to the part. His sheriff Coffee didn't rush to judgment. He weighed people, negotiated when he could, and stood firm when he had to, helping the series feel grounded as a community, not just a myth. Teal worked across a vast number of films and shows, one of those familiar faces who helped build classic Hollywood and TV from the inside out. He died on April 2nd, 1976, at 74, and somehow his legacy still rides each time the theme plays. A steady sheriff, a steady town, and the sense that someone reliable is watching the horizon, just in case. Hoss Cartwright was the gentle giant. Big hands, big heart, and a decency that made the West feel safe for an hour. Dan Blocker didn't play Hoss as a joke or a sidekick. He made him sincerely kind, the brother who could lift a fence post with one arm and still kneel to comfort someone who'd been hurt. In a genre filled with swagger, Hoss was something rarer, goodness without performance. Blocker was born December 10, 1928, in DeKalb, Texas, and his Hoss could be funny, but the humor came from innocence, not stupidity. The most memorable moments weren't fistfights, but the quiet ones where he listened, chose mercy, and proved strength can be gentle. Then, in 1972, the real world cut in, fast and unfair. Blocker died on May 13, 1972, at 43, from a pulmonary embolism following gallbladder surgery, and the shock wasn't just that he was gone, it was that a presence so steady could vanish overnight. After that, Bonanza still rode on, but many fans felt the sky looked different without its biggest heart. These were the faces that made Bonanza feel like family. Some taken too soon, others carried gently into old age, all leaving something behind. The Ponderosa still lives each time the music rises and the Nevada sky opens wide. If this tribute brought you back, subscribe to Retro 1960s. Share your favorite character below, and keep these timeless Western memories riding on.